Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV now on YouTube. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor and this is the top story segment. So every morning on Good Morning India, I give you 5 stories to vote on and the ones that attract most of your attention. Also, the other news stories of the day is what you and I discuss here, right here on our YouTube channel. The address is very simple. Since you're already on it, spread the word. It's youtube.com/NDTV and you can get top stories and many more such segments on right in here on YouTube. So let's just see what the poll's telling us today. Well, the protest over the citizenship law that continues to attract a lot of your attention. Apart from that, the stinking potholes comment being made by the Kerala governor, the Maharashtra cabinet expansion, patients out in the cold, and also the dense fog that seems to have engulfed the national capital region. In fact, sadly, it's taken away the life of 6 people as well who were on the road in Greater Noida. Their car just went into a canal. 2 kids out of them as well who've lost their lives. So be really careful if you really have to come out on the roads as the fog continues to intensify. We'll talk about that in just a bit and what you need to do if you're stepping out and if you have New Year's plan as well. But let's talk about the protests first. Now, as we speak, there are protests being held in West Bengal, this time not in Kolkata, but in other districts as well. Mamata Banerjee has now taken to the streets in other districts and spreading the word against CAA, against NRC, against NPR as well. She, in fact, has been one of the very vocal chief ministers saying that not in my state, this is not going to happen in my state. She's also come out with a notification already against NPR, the population register, saying that despite what the government is saying, that NPR, NRC, CAA, no link in all of them. Mamata Banerjee is saying it starts all with the population register, and her government has given out a notification saying it will not be held in West Bengal just yet. Apart from that, talking about the protest, a very unique protest is happening right here in the national capital. In this biting cold where all of us are shivering, Delhi is colder than Shimla as well. There are women and children who've been out on the road from the 25th of December onwards, and they continue to do so, saying that we need to step out now and take up this fight against CAA and NRC. This is a relay protest of sorts where all of them, in fact, most of them are homemakers, are housewives, and have kids, have responsibilities at home, but they leave that aside and they come out on the streets. Then, in batches, they go back home, finish their chores and come back. Several are elderly women, several are young mothers who come in this cold, like I said, along with their kids. In fact, I want to show you some visuals of that. So come right along where you will see these visuals. Look at that. This is happening at Shaheen Bagh, very close to the area in Okhla, where a lot of these women are now sitting in. All the banners that you see over there say no NRC, no CAA, don't be silent, don't be violent. That one over here talking about violence. We want no cap, no NRC. That's on an Indian flag over there. Let me in fact show you some more visuals as they came in. Women stand there, sit there, sleep there at times at night. And these pictures taken at some 2 in the morning, where just look at that. Men also came in support. There were kids sleeping over there. All religions found a space in these protests. And wearing their Santa hats, the kids were seen as well. And women really deciding to do this sit-in protest. Not going violent, not raising any speech as well, but just sitting there, talking about what is going on and why their voices need to be heard on this front. A lot of them have said, it's my colleague over there who spoke with a lot of them as well, and a lot of them also said that while men go out to work, we feel that we can't really voice our opinion. We were stuck at home doing our daily chores, but it was so imperative. NRC and CAA has raised such a raw nerve in their minds that they said that they had to come out. So that's where the protests are concerned. Several others lined up across the country as well. But something else that is the talk of the town today and talk of the country really has been the comments of the Kerala governor. The newly appointed governor in Kerala came out with some shocking remarks. he went on to say that, in fact, let me not tell you what he said. Just listen to what he said, then we'll talk about it.
You can't shout me down. You can't shout me down. You are lying! आप ही लोगों के लिए मौलाना आजाद ने कहा था पहले कन्वेंशन में, कॉन्वोकेशन में, कि पार्टीशन गंदगी बहा ले गया, लेकिन कुछ गड्ढे बच गए जिसमें पानी बच गया, बदबू आ रही है उसमें से, बदबू आ रही है. You are causing foul smell. मौलाना आजाद ने आप ही के लिए कहा था, आप ही लोगों के लिए मौलाना आजाद ने कहा था पहले कन्वेंशन में, कॉन्वोकेशन में, कि पार्टीशन गंदगी बहा ले गया, लेकिन कुछ गड्ढे बच गए जिसमें पानी बच गया, बदबू आ रही है उसमें से.
All right. So, बदबू आ रही है उसमें से, पार्टीशन में गंदगी निकल गई. That's actually doesn't get more appalling than that. And what you don't see in that screen at the moment is the Kerala, the governor over there, Arif Mohammed Khan. He's a newly appointed governor, and his stand on NRC and CAA has come under a lot of criticism by the country, by people from his own community as well, and other critics as well, who said that he should not be talking about and representing a particular community, because he does not. So what happened here? He was at a program where there were a lot of academicians as well. He started speaking and he talked about CAA, NRC, said that we should believe what the Modi government is saying and that it has no link, and none of the Indian Muslims are going to be impacted by this at all. To that, there were a lot of academicians, like I said, who were sitting in the audience, who stood up and said, you are not allowed to make these comments, don't talk false news to everyone, this is not right. When they said that, and in that protest, he responded from the mic and from the stage and said, well, you cannot shout me down, and let me remind you what happened during the convention. And one of the senior leaders of the partition and the senior leaders of the Congress before partition had said, and he misquoted actually one of them and went out to say that during partition the dirt was said to have been removed, but now some potholes have been left behind, and all of you, he points out at the protesters and says, are the ones who are the creating foul smell from those stinking potholes. It's tough to fathom that the governor of a state would use language like this. This later led to, as you could see in those visuals as well, some police walking in, detaining all those people who were raising their voice against the governor, and they have been now taken under detention, is what we know. We wait to see what happens to them. But this also raised a huge debate online on people saying, is this really the language the governor should be using? And above all, should he have really shouted down those people the way he did? The language under huge criticism, the response that he has given, and his stand under huge criticism as well. He did come out. NDTV in fact went and spoke with him about his stand, and he said, well, I just said what I said because there was physical threat to me. He claims that these activists, in fact these people who were opposed to his comments, were about to get on the stage and physically harm him. That's why he had to call the police and ask them to be taken away. When NDTV spoke and independently tried to confirm these reports from people like Professor Arif, who were there and in the crowd, they said very categorically that we were nowhere near the stage. We were just trying to say that you are not here to speak upon this matter. Why are you talking about it? Is there no voice to even protest? Is there no voice to even, no space to even voice your opinion in this country? So all this happened in Kerala. I quickly want to brush upon the other news stories of the day as well, and we are talking about the fog situation. Well, here in the national capital, all of us woke up to a dense blanket of fog, and it was faced on the road when we were on our way to work, on flights, and on train as well. As we speak, about 30 trains have been delayed in and out of Delhi, and around 10 flights which were inbound had been impacted. Now, as the day progresses, the SkyMet has predicted that things will get a little better. In fact, when we were on our show in the morning, we were expecting and we were told that around 10 o'clock things will get better, and a wind movement was expected that would clear out the fog. That did not happen. Things began to get clear and get better only around 12 o'clock or so. That's when inbound and outbound flights, we saw some movement over there. Also, on the worst impact has actually been seen on the road, where 6 people, including 2 kids, lost their lives in Greater Noida. They were coming all the way from UP. They were making their way to the capital, where they miscalculated, and we are told that it is perhaps because of the fog situation that their car actually went into a canal. All 6 of them are now no more. There are about 5 others who have been injured in this as well. So quick advisory for you: if you really have to go out in this cold and in this fog on the streets, and if you're driving your car, please ensure that your fog lights are on. A very quick DIY, if you don't have fog lamps in your car, is to just take a yellow cellophane, put that in front of your headlights and your tail lights to ensure, because yellow gives you better visibility in the fog. So keep that in mind. Always stick to one lane. Don't keep switching lanes. Drive very, very slow. Try to tail a car, but keep safe distance from it. In your highways, you have to be extra careful because the speed is quite high. So keep that speed in check and follow these instructions. If you really have to go out on the road, get your the beep lights on, the emergency light which is right there in the middle of your car. Put that put those blinkers and on to ensure that there is enough visibility for anybody passing by, to ensure that you are there. So keep those measures in check and have a happy, safe new year. And here, as temperatures keep dipping, like we've told you earlier as well, December 2019 in Delhi is actually the coldest we have seen in over a century. Over 118 years, it has never been this cold as it was this time. So spare a thought to those who, unlike you and I, don't have the comfort of being inside rooms and are warmed up enough. Spare a thought to those who come from back of the beyond in UP and Bihar and come for treatment in desperate situation to institutes like AIIMS and Safdarjung and are left out in the cold. For them, the choice is very simple. They can either afford a treatment or get a rented accommodation for themselves. So NDTV is doing something very special. We have collaborated with Uday Foundation and we are giving out blankets. You can also do your bit. Do send out a bit of love and warmth. All you have to do is log on to ndtv.com/blankets, and Uday Foundation along with us, we are going out on the streets to ensure that at least some blankets reach them to keep them warm this winter. So that's it from us for the moment on the top story segment. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.